Hi guys! I'm so sorry that I'm not there to see us for our first book club meeting. Thanks so much for coming. I'm especially sad because so many of you are from Mrs. Draws's class and I would have loved to have been there for our first Lord of the Flies meeting. But I'm not, so I made you this video instead. Okay, so what you're going to be doing today, even though we have a substitute, I think we can handle it. Lord of the Flies. Crazy stuff. Chapter 1 and 2 is all that you should have read. And by the way, I've said this all along, I really think you should read it in a British accent. It is written to be read in a British accent. You should be hearing things that kind of, or I should say reading, you should be reading things that kind of seem a little bit unusual, or just the way it's written or the way they speak or some of the words that they use, because it's a little bit different. And even within the boys, even Piggy talks a little differently from the rest of them, and I hope you picked up on that because he has a different dialect from the rest of them in terms of like areas of England and things like that. So, and he'll say things like that don't make sense, or something that maybe sounds a little bit incorrect because that's where he's from in England. So for the first part, for about 10 minutes, you are supposed to get together in groups of 3 to 5 throughout the classroom, and I want you to get together and discuss chapters 1 and 2. Only chapters 1 and 2 because you haven't read ahead, right? That's why I had you write down 2 questions. Those should be sparking discussion among your group. And I'm only going to give you about 10 minutes for this, or the sub, I told her to only give you about 10 minutes for this. And so, for example, maybe one of you wrote down, why are all the boys mean to Piggy? Or what does the word scar mean? Or why were there a bunch of boys flying on a plane to begin with? You know, those are the types of questions you wrote down. And so you're going to use those questions to kind of discuss. And I expect high-level discussion as you guys are accelerated language arts students. All right. Now, the next thing you're going to be doing is getting on Schoology. On Schoology, in my accelerated language arts group, not the course, but the group, you will see on the left-hand side, you're going to see a tab that says discussion, and I want you to click on that. And you'll see some from like House of Scorpion. Obviously, you can ignore those. You're looking at the one that says Lord of the Flies, chapters 1 and 2. Go in there and read through the directions, and I am going to pull them up right now for my own self to see. So the directions say, as I open it up, first, welcome and all of that. We have a large group, but we can manage it as long as everyone's polite and respectful and kind. So it says choose one of the 3 questions below. So there's 3, you choose one, and you're going to write a response. You don't need to write this in a very fancy way. This is supposed to just be conversational, discussion style. I mean, write it with, I want it to be well written, but I'm not looking for something formal or anything like that. The one thing I do say is that I want to see deep thinking, okay? You are accelerated students, so I expect some higher level thinking about the book, and I want to know that you've read the book. This is your chance to show me that you did do the reading. So there's 3 questions, and you choose one and you answer them. Then the other thing is to respond to another student's response. So you're going to have to maybe refresh your screen to let it populate, but as other kids are answering, then you go through and you respond to one other. Or what you can do is, let's say somebody wrote one and somebody else responded, you can respond to that person's response. That's fine too. So you're answering one of the 3 questions on the threaded discussion, and you're responding to one other person's. So while you're doing that, that's actually silent work. So there shouldn't really be a lot of talking, and you need to get it done today during this time. So the 3 questions are on there. The first one says, talk about the differences between the 2 main antagonists. So you have to remember what that word means, Ralph and Jack. How are they different from one another, and what types of, what broad types of individuals do they represent? So you're thinking about society, things like that. Number 2, in what ways can Piggy with his eyeglasses be seen as representing the rational, scientific aspects of society? And then lastly, number 3, what roles does the conch play? How does it represent a civilizing force? Okay. So, and by the way, as you're reading and words come up like conch, and you might not know what that means, be sure to look them up because that is going to really help your understanding and comprehension of the story. All right. Sorry I couldn't be there. Please be productive, and can't wait to see you guys later on. Have a good one.